Time for another Wulfen update. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, time for another update on the Wulfen, and I've now completed the conversions on the 5 guys, and as you can see I've stripped all the paint that was on there off. I've still got some more work to do on them. I've still got to do some green stuff, just filling in some of the gaps and stuff, which I'll talk about in a minute. And as you can see, I've got the backpacks off as well. I have stripped them, but I'm going to paint them without the backpacks on because I think it will be a little bit easier just to get to the nooks and crannies of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in, set up one model at a time and just run through the work that I've done. Right, the first one, this guy here. Now originally I was going to have this guy as the pack leader, although I've had a bit of change of heart of that now, which I'll talk about in a second. The claws on this guy, so what I did is I cut the hands off first. Now I didn't actually cut them off at the wrist because as you can see those hands are actually quite big. They're quite werewolf sized as such, much bigger actually than the current Wulfen model's hands, which are pretty human sort of shaped and sized. So I cut it off just down below the thumb, actually just there, and then I filed down the hand and just reshaped it and made it as small as I could get it, or at least small enough to get the hand into the actual claw piece, which I've done there. Now I've still got to go in and green stuff in the hand. I'm going to try and make the hand like this sort of size, and I may possibly also add some sort of fur coming out the back as well, where they've got sort of these fur sections that are going along the forearm. Just here, I'll probably add some in this one. Yeah, first conversion that I did, and I was very happy with that, came out pretty well. So I moved on to the second guy with the claws, which I'm going to set up next. Okay, so this is the second guy with the claws, and after seeing the pose that I managed to get, I've decided this guy is going to be the pack leader. I think it looks more like a leader than the other guy. So once again on this side I just cut the hand off, reshaped it, made it as small as I needed to get that claw in. And then I did the same on this one where I cut the gun off. This was a lot more trickier because I didn't want the claw to be in this sort of angle of the gun. I wanted it to be sort of more upright as such, because I just thought it suited the pose a bit better. But it meant that the arm looked a bit funny, so I had to reshape it. I had to cut off all the fur that was here, and just, well, not cut it, fired it all down, and I'm going to add some more fur just underneath, just to make it look as if it's actually in the correct position for the angle of the arm. And I had to reshape all of this forearm here just to make it look as if it's a bit more natural looking. But it came out pretty well. I'm happy with that, and as I said, he's going to be the pack leader for the army, so he is going to be wearing this backpack eventually. Yeah, so that's the pack leader. So let's have a look at the Thunderhammer guys. Okay, so this is the first Thunderhammer guy. So to get the shield on, I literally cut the hand off, and again a lot of reshaping because the arms seem to be much bigger than these new Wulfen models. But I managed to reshape it, get his arm in there, and then there's obviously the hand in the shield. So once again I'm going to have to green stuff in so the rest of the hand to just make it a bit beefier, because it's quite a small hand holding that shield. But it came out pretty well. As for the axe, now originally I was going to cut this hand off and glue on one of the new Wulfen hands and try to have it going around this axe. Now that axe already had a hand on it, so first of all I cut the hand off, and on this particular one I shaved off the leather grip all the way around the axe. I'm going to actually paint this axe as if it was like a metal axe. I then placed it into the hand after cutting out the thumb, and I fired out like a groove for it to go. I just thought that the other hand that I planned on using just didn't quite look like he was actually holding it. So I went for this design instead, and all I've got to do now is go in and green stuff in a brand new thumb just wrapped around that axe, so it actually looks like he's holding it. But yeah, that's the first guy, and yeah, really happy with that. Thought that came out pretty well. So let's have another look at the second Thunderhammer guy. Okay, so this is the next Thunderhammer guy. I decided I wanted a shield in the other hand, just to again make the models look as unique and as different as possible. So I went in, cut his hand off, reshaped that, and managed to get his hand into the shield, which is pretty cool. And then as for the sword, again, I am an art deciding what to do. I did think about cutting the hand off, adding that new plastic hand, but in the end, I just took off the actual sword that was there and left his hand. And then what I did is I drilled a hole into his hand. I drilled a hole into the axe, and I pinned hammer. I've pinned the hammer into his hand, and it means now I've got one with a leather strap, so that's quite good. I've got two unique hammers, one with a leather strap, one with like a metal handle. And then I cut off the bottom of the axe, and I just glued it to the bottom of the old axe. Now originally I was going to cut the bottom of the axe up, but I think it would just make it too short. It's currently the perfect size compared to that one, so that's why I left the original axe in. Sorry about my hands going over the camera there. Right, so that's that guy. So let's have a look at the last guy with the axe. Okay, so this is the last guy, and originally I had this guy already converted because he was my pack leader for the old Wulfen, and he's holding a Chaos axe. So I thought that'd be pretty good to use as the axe in the current rule set. And I originally had a pistol on his hand, you may remember from the last video. In the end I decided not to go with that, so I unpinned it. I just basically ripped it off, and I re-pinned on an actual wolf hand. I think it looks a lot better, and actually it looks like he's really wielding that axe now, whereas I think the last pose looks like he was actually shooting a gun more than actually using his axe. So I think that worked well, so I'm really happy with that. And that is all of the conversions. The other 5 guys, of course, I've just stripped and I'm keeping as they were originally. So that gives me my first unit of 10. So the next thing that I need to do is green stuff in all of the bits and pieces that I've got to do. Then I have to cut them off of their bases and pin their feet ready for painting. Yeah, I really hope you like the look of them. So what I'm going to do is show you a few pictures of them at the end of the video with some music, so hopefully you enjoy that. Thanks for watching, of course, as always, and I shall see you in the next update.